China-Maldives Free Trade Agreement (FTA) will cement the place occupied by locals in Maldives fisheries industry. And the Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development invites applications for the Stipendium Hungaricum Scholarship.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSN News in English with me, Iqbal Mahmoud. Looking into the details, President Dr. Mohamed Muiz says this year the government succeeded in empowering the Maldivian people and protected and defended the country's sovereignty.
In a post shared on his social media platforms to mark the end of 2024, the president noted the recent constitutional amendments had given the people a say in important matters of the state, which he described as true empowerment of the Maldivian people. With the message, President Muiz had shared details of the constitutional amendments, which he had earlier labelled as people-centric reforms. One of the key constitutional amendments passed by the parliament and ratified by the president in November involves modifications to the country's territory. Previously, such changes requires a two-third majority approval from the parliament. The new amendment strengthens this requirement to a three-quarters majority. Additionally, the country's maritime territory can now be defined up to the Exclusive Economic Zone (EEZ), and any changes to these territorial boundaries will require both a three-quarters majority in the parliament and approval through a public referendum. The territory includes the Maldives land, airspace, sea, seabed and territorial waters as defined by the law. Another significant addition to the constitution now requires parliamentary approval before any foreign military personnel can be deployed within Maldivian territory, except for military exercises conducted under contractual terms. The other amendment will now obligate governments to seek public opinion before bringing changes to the constitution, including any changes to the article on public referendums. President Dr. Muiz had described these as critical decisions made with patriotic fervor and national spirit, serving to protect Maldivian citizens' rights whilst safeguarding the country's independence, sovereignty, development and stability.
The Minister of Economic Development and Trade, Mohammad Saeed, says that the China-Maldives Free Trade Agreement (FTA) will cement the place occupied by locals in Maldives fisheries industry. The minister made the statement at a ceremony held to announce the FTA coming into force on 1st January 2025.
The Maldives and China signed the FTA in 2014. Although the Maldives Parliament approved the FTA in 2017, the change of government in 2018 delayed its implementation. However, after President Dr. Mohamed Muiz assumed office in November 2023, he initiated the necessary efforts to implement the agreement. Under the FTA, Maldives fish exports to China will enjoy duty exemption, opening a host of business and trade opportunities for both nations. However, as the FTA works as a two-way street, concerns remain whether smaller Maldivian firms will be able to compete with the much larger Chinese firms, especially in the fisheries industry. During the ceremony, Minister Saeed moved quickly to reassure locals, insisting that despite the FTA, China will not enjoy special privileges to monopolize Maldives' fisheries industry. The minister repeatedly assured locals that the FTA will not be a threat to their place in the industry. Speaking at the ceremony, China's Minister of Commerce, Wang Wentao, said the FTA will enhance existing friendly relations between Maldives and China. With the Maldives-China Free Trade Agreement, 296 different items of seafoods will be exempt from customs duty when exported to China. Maldivian businesses will also have the opportunity to provide value-added service to meet World Trade Organization (WTO) standards to imported seafood products and to re-export it to China. According to Minister Saeed, such a provision has not been made available to other Chinese FTA partners.
The Minister of Economic Development and Trade, Mohammad Saeed, says the China-Maldives Free Trade Agreement will enable exclusive opportunities to the Maldives that are not available to other countries. The minister made the statement at a ceremony held to announce the FTA coming into force on January 1st.
speaking at the ceremony announcing the implementation of the FTA, the Economic Minister Mohammad Saeed highlighted that the FTA would bring significant benefits and trade opportunities to the Maldives. The minister acknowledged concerns that the agreement would reduce the Maldives' broader revenue and assured that the FTA would increase trade opportunities for the Maldives while also increasing revenue through other means. Giving an example, Minister Saeed said that a large part of the cost incurred to obtain the material required to build and open a guest house can be saved due to the FTA. He noted that the development and advancement to guest house businesses will in turn benefit other related businesses. The minister also highlighted benefits to the fisheries sector due to the FTA, noting that China too cannot invest in sectors where foreign investment is prohibited in the Maldives. The minister said that the FTA would enable the export of all types of fish caught in the Maldives without any restriction and is previously unavailable. He further emphasized that the China-Maldives FTA provides unique opportunities to the Maldives that are not available to other Chinese FTA partners. Addressing concerns about the FTA's impact on traditional markets, the minister said that free trade agreements represent the future. While efforts are ongoing to establish an FTA between the Maldives and India, similar discussions are underway with the United Kingdom. The minister further said that the FTA signed with Turkey will also come into force during the first quarter of 2025, possibly as early as January.
The Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development invites applications for the Stipendium Hungaricum Scholarship. According to the ministry, the party-funded scholarship by the Hungary government has designated 25 slots for the Maldives. The courses available under the scholarships include 8 bachelor's degree programs, 14 master's degree programs, and 3 doctoral programs. The applicant criteria and process for applications have been gazetted by the ministry. According to the ministry, applicants cannot apply for more than one full-time program. Return ticket and visa fee of successful applicants will be covered by the Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development, while the Hungary government would provide tuition course fee, medical insurance, and part of food and accommodation. Applications for scholarships can be submitted through the main Edu portal of the ministry. The deadline for applications will expire on 15th January at 2 p.m. State Electric Company Limited, Stelco, installs 20 new generator sets in 19 different islands to ensure uninterrupted electricity service in the islands.
The state-owned utility firm Stelco is currently providing electricity in the capital Male region and the islands in Kaf Atoll, Alif Alif Atoll, Alif Dal Atoll and Wau Atoll. Stelco said the 20 generator sets provided to 19 islands carry a total capacity of 9,198 kilowatts. In addition to the Male region, Stelco currently provides electricity in 5 islands in Kaf Atoll, 6 islands in Alif Alif Atoll, 6 islands in Alif Dal Atoll, and 3 islands in Wau Atoll. The utility firm has established 36 power plants in these islands. Stelco said the new generator sets were provided to cater to the increase in demand for electricity in these islands. The company assured that the new generator sets will enhance the electricity service provided in these islands. In a bid to produce environmentally friendly energy, Stelco has launched several initiatives this year to move towards renewable energy sources instead of burning fossil fuel. As part of such initiatives, Stelco has set up a solar power system with a capacity of 11,000 kilowatts to its 47.7 megawatts main power station in Male. Additionally, Stelco has also launched various initiatives to diversify its business portfolio, with the opening of a specialized business center to sell generators locally instead of importing them being a key highlight of the year. The company has said that the center will facilitate the quick delivery of generators to the islands in the event of breakdowns.
Male Water and Sewerage Company MWSC reveals that the project to connect water supply systems in Male City and Hulu Male is nearing completion. In 2018, MWSC awarded the contract to China Harbour Engineering Company Limited to connect the water supply systems through the Tila Male Bridge. However, The project had been stalled for the past 5 years before the change in government. Speaking to PSM News, Managing Director of MWSC, Abdul Mateen Mohammed, said the lack of cooperation between relevant parties had led to the delay in completing the project. He said that the failure to allocate a land for the pump station connecting the water grid was the main reason behind the delay. However, Mateen said this administration had removed the obstacle and now the establishment of the pump station is progressing swiftly. He added that the pump station will be completed by early 2025 and the water grid connection project will be completed. The water network between Male and Hulu Male will have the capacity to pump 800 tons of water per hour. MWSC has said water security will be greatly increased in Male and Hulu Male once the networks are connected, as water will be available even in case of a breakdown or disaster in either city. The national airline Maldivian will host an air show to showcase its first wide-body aircraft, an Airbus A330. The Airbus A330, which can carry 324 passengers, will be the largest aircraft in Maldivian's fleet to date. While the aircraft is currently in Singapore, the air show will be held on January 6th after the aircraft's arrival in the Maldives. According to Maldivian, the air show will be held at the Usfaskandu area in Male as well as Hulu Male Phase 1 and 2 from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Monday. The addition of a wide-body aircraft to Maldivian's operations fulfills a significant government pledge. While China is currently the Maldives' largest tourism market, the A330 will operate flights to 3 destinations in China. In the future, Maldivian plans to expand its service to Europe. According to Maldivian, the new aircraft will accommodate 324 passengers across 3 cabin classes: economy, business, and premium. The flight's operation is expected to bring an extra 60,000 passengers annually. The Maldivians' current fleet includes over 20 aircrafts. 2 cruise ships, MS Norwegian Sky and MS Riviera, have anchored at Male City, bringing a combined total of over 3,000 tourists to the Maldives. According to Maldives Association for Yacht Agents, Maya, MS Norwegian Sky arrived on Sunday morning carrying 1,872 tourists. MS Riviera arrived the next morning with 1,182 tourists. The total number of tourists that arrived via the 2 vessels is 3,054. The cruise ships which arrived in the Maldives from Seychelles will spend 2 days in the Maldives. MS Norwegian Sky's next port of call will be Thailand, while MS Riviera will set sail to Sri Lanka. Earlier on Sunday, a yacht docked at Iligan in Ha Alif Atoll, utilizing the services offered by the Maldives Ports Limited, MPL's International Ship and Port Security Gate. The vessel carried 17 crew members. Maya noted that 3 cruise liners have docked in the Maldives since the start of the tourism peak season. While another cruise liner is scheduled to arrive in January, a total of 12 cruise liners are scheduled to arrive in the Maldives before the end of the high season. Germany's DAX was unable to build on its success of the end of the year on the last trading day of 2024, with the leading German stock market index closed 0.4% weaker at 19,909.14 points. Nevertheless, it rose by around 19% over the year, making it the top performer among the major European stock exchanges.
At the close of trading on Monday, the Euro Stoxx 50 was down 0.5% at 4,874 points. Futures for the most important US indices were also down. Higher yields on government bonds provided a headwind. 10-year German government bonds yielded 2.376%, slightly below the previous day's level, but the yield on the benchmark bond in the Eurozone rose by around 37 basis points over the year as a whole. A rise in yields on US government bonds was triggered by speculation about inflationary policies under future US President Donald Trump next year, among other things. According to experts, the stock market is likely to be relatively quiet in the first few days of the new year. After that, however, Trump's inauguration on January 20th and the general election on February 23rd will set the course for the stock market year. Above all, Trump's announced plans are considered to be the most important uncertainty factor for the stock markets in the coming year. Should the Republican introduce the expected tax cuts, deregulation and tariffs, the brilliant DAX rally of the past 2 years could quickly come to an end. Market experts also warned that all industry woes, including those of the car industry, were likely to travel into 2025. The euro remained stable at $1.04. Over the course of the year, it lost more than 5% against the dollar.
Jonathan, the interim head of the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, says that members of the agency, together with WHO and WFP, delivered supplies and helped evacuate some patients to the Indonesian hospital in Gaza's Jabalia on Sunday. Footage released by the OCHA showed black smoke rising near the hospital.
The interim head of the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs described the Indonesian hospital as an unfunctioning hospital in the midst of ongoing fighting, adding that members of the agency, together with WHO and WFP, delivered supplies and helped evacuate some patients to the Indonesian hospital in Gaza's Jabalia on Sunday.
We've managed to reach Jabalia today in the north of Gaza together with WHO and WFP. WHO is bringing supplies to Indonesian hospital. It's not functioning as a hospital. All around us, fighting is ongoing. We've been trying to reach the north of Gaza 140 times in the last 2 months. Every time has been denied. People here have no food, no water, no sanitation, nothing. Yesterday, Kamal Adwan came under attack. People were brought to an Indonesian hospital where it is not a functioning hospital. WHO, together with PRCS, is referring some patients today out to Shifa Hospital. But there are still people in this area. There are still people in Jabalia in the north. They need access. They need us to be able to reach them. We need to be able to reach people wherever they are.
The head of the World Health Organization on Monday called for an end to attacks on hospitals in Gaza after Israel struck one and raided another in the past few days. The Israeli military said Hamas militants were the targets of a strike on Gaza City's Al-Wafa hospital, which the Palestinian civil defense said killed 7 people. Israeli forces also detained more than 240 Palestinians, including dozens of medical staff from Kamal Adwan Hospital on Friday. The head of the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs also said that WHO and partners delivered basic medical supplies, food and water to Gaza's Indonesian hospital and transferred 10 critical patients to Al-Shifa Hospital.
We have listened to the patients here who have been evacuated from a hospital to another, telling us how hard was it on them to leave the Kamal Adwan Hospital and come to Indonesian hospital. And they are fearing that this would push them to Gaza City or to the south. They wanted to stay because their family is still here. Their relatives are still here. People are still here. And we should have access to reach those people.
According to Palestinian health officials, Israel's campaign against Palestinians in Gaza has killed more than 45,500 Palestinians and turned the enclave into a wasteland of rubble and destroyed buildings.
Barcelona have lost another appeal for the precautionary registration of Dani Olmo for the rest of the season, one day before the deadline to register the Spanish international.
Barcelona signed Olmo in August for around 55 million euros, about $57.22 million, but with the club unable to meet La Liga's wage cap, the attacking midfielder Dani Olmo was registered for the first half of the season only. the 4-month allowance is set to expire at the end of the month. The club managed to register Olmo after long-term injuries kept first-team players out of the squad for months, allowing Barca to allocate a portion of their wages to register the 26-year-old along with forward Pau Victor. On Friday, the Commercial Court number 10 of Barcelona rejected the club's request to provisionally register Olmo, and the Court of First Instance number 47 of Barcelona agreed with that ruling on Monday. According to La Liga, the court rejected the precautionary registration of Olmo since none of the necessary prerequisites for the adoption of the precautionary measure were met. La Liga also defended the competence of its delegate commission to approve its budgeting rules and that this has never been questioned by any club, including Barcelona. The initial decision to not register Olmo was taken by La Liga's budget validation body. The decision was then confirmed in 3 separate appeals by its Financial Fair Play Committee, its Social Appeals Committee, and by the UEFA Second Instance Licensing Committee of the Spanish Football Federation. Barcelona then decided on the judicial route but now face a race against time to find an alternative plan. Spanish media reports say that Barcelona are planning to use the sale of VIP boxes at the Camp Nou stadium, which could bring over 100 million euros, which will need the approval of La Liga. Barcelona are third in the La Liga standings, 3 points behind leaders Atletico Madrid, and their next game is a Copa del Rey round of 32 tie away to 4th tier Barbastro on Saturday.
That's it for now. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant day ahead and wish you all a very happy new year.
PSM ಗೆ ಟಿವಿ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತಕ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತ ಮಿಹಾರು PSM Air application nu tiya beflunna hile balalevene adi aduwa halevene duniye komme taagu huregen komme gadiyaku PSM ge channel ta balaluma avaha PSM Air app download kurawa miharu app store na Google Play Store inves mi app download kollevene